We're finally seeing the first signs of spring appear, and I couldn't be more ready. After months of cold and gray, little hints of new life are popping up all around the farm. Today, I want to take you along as we welcome spring at our studio on Maker Farm, show you what's changing, and share some of the projects we've been working on. Winter feels so long here. Gray skies, short days, the feeling of never quite being warm enough. We did some fun things this winter, like snow camping, but still, I always just feel like I'm waiting for the light to return. But this week, something shifted. The air felt different. The last patches of snow have melted, and for the first time in months, I could throw open the windows and hear something other than silence. Birds singing, the wind moving through the trees. It's like the world is waking up again, and honestly, so am I. Here in Michigan, one of the very first signs of spring is the return of the red-winged blackbird. Their bird song now fills the air, and flashes of red and gold flicker through the branches. But they're not alone. High above the fields, hawks have returned and circle the skies above our farm, scanning for movement below. And down on the ground, the turkeys are back, moving through the farm in a tight-knit flock. We have so many turkeys here, and it's fun to see them all just walking around. The world is coming alive, and so is our farm. For the first time in months, we can hear the sound of dripping water instead of just the crunch of snow underfoot. And when the puddles get big enough, well, sometimes you just have to jump in. Yes, I almost lost my boot in that puddle. But winter isn't quite done yet. Many of the nights are still below freezing, but the days are warming up just enough to remind us that we're on the other side of it now. And that's exactly when the maple trees start waking up too. And that means it's the perfect time for something special, tapping maple trees for syrup. Now, we didn't realize it at first, but Maker Farm has its own stand of sugar maples. And once we discovered those, we knew we had to try making our own maple syrup. Now, we had no idea what we were doing, but it turns out it's a lot simpler than you'd think. First, we found a healthy tree and drilled a small hole at a slight angle. Then we inserted a spile. That's just a little tap that lets the sap flow out. And as soon as we did, there it was. Drip, drip, drip. Clear, cold sap straight from the tree. We hung a bucket to catch it and checked back the next day. And to our surprise, it was full. And that's when the real magic happens. We brought the sap back into the studio, put it on the stove, and let it boil. Now it takes hours. Most of the water has to evaporate, but slowly the clear sap turns golden, thickens, and finally becomes maple syrup. I still can't believe we made this ourselves. It tastes like pure sunshine after a long winter. I made these bottle labels in Canva and cut them on my Cricut. It is such a simple way to add a personal touch. If you'd like to learn how to make labels like I did, my playbooks walk you through all of it step by step. I actually just put out a new one all about Canva, so I'll drop a link in the description if you want to check it out. If you've got a maple tree, even just one, you can do this too. And honestly, we don't know why more people don't do it. Now that we know how, we expect to see maple trees everywhere tapped, but they're not. So you should try it. If you would like a step-by-step tutorial on how to make your own maple syrup or how to turn syrup into your own sugar, let me know. I would love to share more. And I just love this time of the year because it feels like the first real proof spring is coming. The days stretch a little longer, and I can finally feel that heaviness of winter start to lift. Our maple syrup made its debut at a tea party we had for my mother's birthday. We stirred maple sugar into our tea, which was just amazing. And we drizzled the syrup over vanilla ice cream. If you've never tasted warm syrup on vanilla ice cream, you have to try it. And decorating the studio for the party was almost as much fun as the celebration itself. I hung spring wreaths on the front doors, filled the space with bright flowers, and set up a pretty food table perfect for a spring party. Our daughter Alexa helped out by making quiche, homemade rolls, cucumber sandwiches, and a really, really good carrot cake. This party felt like the perfect way to shake off winter. Something homemade, something sweet, and time with family, the ones who matter most. By the time we had our little tea party for my mom's birthday, I realized just how much I had been missing moments like this. Winter makes me want to hibernate, but something about setting up the table, decorating with flowers, and sharing good food with family, it's like I knew things were turning around. Spring isn't just about the farm waking up. It's about me waking up too. The things that seemed so hard just a few weeks ago are starting to feel possible. So we jumped into a few projects, getting ready for everything that's ahead. First, Greg built a simple bench near our stream, a quiet spot to sit, breathe, and soak in the changes around us. Right now, everything is still brown and bare, but soon this will be a shady green retreat, a place to go and listen to the frogs and watch the water. But our biggest project, it's a greenhouse. We've been wanting a greenhouse for a long time, and this year we finally made it happen. This 6 by 10 foot greenhouse is just the beginning. One day we'd love to have a larger, more permanent one, but for now, this is an affordable place to start. The windows protect our plants from harsh sun while letting in just the right amount of light. And with the Michigan weather as unpredictable as ever, we added a wood base for stability. This also made it possible to move it with some dollies. We placed the greenhouse right on the south-facing porch of the studio, close enough to use it, but right where the seedlings would get the most sunlight. And to keep everything at the right temperature, we added a greenhouse heater for chilly nights and an automatic vent opener for those warmer days. So far, it's already survived its first real test, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and it's holding up well. And with our first seedlings already inside, it's starting to feel real. After months of cold, planting seeds feels like a promise. A reminder that every harvest begins with a single seed, and every transformation starts with a vision. This is my favorite part of spring. It's quiet, simple, and full of hope. And there's just something about getting my hands right in the soil and watching new life begin. This year, I'm trying these new seedling trays that make it easy to pop the plants out later. And they have this really cool drip irrigation feature so you can keep the moisture inside. I got these from Veggie Garden, and so far, I really like them. But you don't need fancy seed trays to get started either. I love using simple, everyday materials too. Newspaper, paper towel rolls, egg cartons, even unwaxed paper cups. They're biodegradable, easy to use, and they give seedlings a safe place to grow before they go into the ground. Making your own plant pots from newspaper is easier than you think, too. Here's how you do it. Start with a newspaper and cut it into 3 to 4 inch strips. I use the columns as guides. On one end of a strip, fold the corner over to create a diagonal. Now take a paper towel tube and wrap the newspaper around it from the unfolded end, leaving an inch of paper hanging off the bottom. Fold the extra paper under the tube on all sides to create a base. I like to crease the edges and twist to really define it. Slide the tube out and press the bottom folds down to secure them. Fill your new pot with soil, plant your seeds, and place it in a tray. The newspaper will hold together long enough for your seedling to sprout, and then you can just pop the whole thing into the ground, newspaper and all, as it's biodegradable and will just disintegrate. And of course, you can use those paper towel tubes as plant pots too. Just fold in the bottom and then cut them off and fill them with soil. I filled newspaper pots, paper towel tubes, egg cartons, and paper cups with soil and seeds. When it's time to plant them, I'll just put them all straight into the ground. The paper will break down naturally and my seedlings will never know the difference. Planting seeds is always such an act of hope. You press them into the soil, give them water and sunlight, and wait. And now, thanks to our new greenhouse, these tiny sprouts will have a warm, safe place to grow until it's time to move them outside. And it won't be long before these little seedlings become part of our garden, and I can't wait to see what they'll grow into. Every year I start seedlings, and every year I'm reminded of the same thing. Growth takes time. This is just the start of the growing season. Next, I'll be planting these seedlings in our garden and trying some new gardening projects. I love that this season is full of new beginnings. If you're planting something this spring, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know. Spring always feels like a reset for me, and I know I'm not the only one. After a long winter, it can be hard to find energy, to feel inspired, to shake off that heavy feeling. But every year, the world reminds me it will come back. The sun stays up a little longer, the birds return, the trees wake up, and so do we. Looking around, I realize just how much has changed in a few weeks. And it makes me wonder, what's changing where you are? And what's the first thing that makes you feel like yourself again when spring arrives? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and I'd love to hear how you welcome this season too.